Hello and welcome to the 1% Solution. Here you'll find tips and tools to help you acquire more physician clients one small step at a time. I'm Dr. Vicki Rackner, your host. Today I'd like to offer you some thoughts about how to beat your competition and win physician clients. When I speak with my advisor coaching clients and we start talking about the competition, suddenly they become smaller and the competition becomes bigger. Then I ask them, who is your competition? I'd like to propose to you that your physician prospects' current strategy, their plan for managing their money, is your biggest competition. Yes, it's true that some of your prospects are already working with financial advisors. However, half of physicians are not. They're either do-it-yourselfers, or they've delegated this task to their brother-in-law, or maybe they've adopted the Alfred E. Neuman what me worry philosophy. I spoke with one physician whose retirement plan is to win the lottery. We know that the status quo is a formidable foe. What toothpaste are you using today? Chances are good it's the same brand that you were using during your childhood. Like toothpaste use, we learn how to manage money in childhood, and those habits are hard to change. It's particularly difficult for physicians to break out of the status quo, and here are the top 3 reasons. The first is tradition. Physicians are conservative by nature. You wouldn't want a physician who just hopped on the next medical bandwagon. The second reason it's very difficult for physicians to overcome inertia is their loyalty. If they've delegated their financial management to somebody, they're genuinely loyal to this person. And third, physicians have very little time to think about this. Physicians are people just like everybody else, and they're subject to the laws of human behavior. Newton said in his first law that a body at rest stays at rest and a body in motion stays in motion. It's very difficult to break somebody's current momentum. In addition, we all have blinders and blind spots. I remember the patient who came to my office with a breast lump. I asked her how long ago she noted it, and she said, a couple weeks. But when I examined her, the cancer had actually eroded through the skin. She had selectively ignored this growing problem for years. Or, as Anais Nin says, we don't see things as they are. We see them as we are. And it's very easy to fool the brain. If you look at this optical illusion, square A and square B are actually the same shade of gray. Well, given these limitations, how do you compete with the status quo and win? Here are 3 tips. First, focus on prospects most open to change. And who would that be? Well, we know that people in times of transition are much more open to new ideas. So if you can find people in disequilibrium, people who are making the transition, they're much more open to your message than people who are in equilibrium. We also know that there's a generational influence. Millennials are much more open to new ideas than boomers. Somebody in pain is much more likely to seek out advice than somebody with no pain, and we know that this is a time of financial pain for physicians. Almost half of physicians said that they're behind where they want to be in retirement planning. So who is the person with the pain? It's these folks. And what else do we know? Well, I contacted the study author. He told me that for physicians age 50 and under, 52% are not working with a professional financial planner. Now, there's not any correlation to show that those 50% are the ones who are behind where they'd like to be, but my guess is that that is in fact the case. Chances are good that somebody who's not already working with an advisor would be more open to your message than somebody who is working with an advisor. Tip number 2, switch it up. We know that the promotion of physical health and fiscal health are mirror processes. That means that in the health promotion business, somebody's in the doctor role and somebody's in the patient role. When you're promoting your own physical health, your doctor is in the doctor role. However, with your physician clients, you are in the doctor role and the physician is in the patient role. Think about how you manage your health. What would it take for you to rethink your medical plan? I remember seeing one of my patients for a surgical problem, but she did mention that she'd given up going to the opera because of a chronic cough. I asked her what she'd done about it. She said she had originally started with just cough drops. Then she went to her doctor who tried a number of different things. And he decided that there was just nothing to do about the cough, that she was going to have to learn to live with it. Well, I asked a few questions and in fact uncovered the reason that was causing her cough, and she was able to go back to the opera. Now, doctors do exactly the same thing with their finances, and they may just assume, like this patient did, that it's something that they're just going to have to live with. What would need to happen for a physician to interrupt that thought, like I interrupted the thought of the cougher? Next, ask doctors to consider how patients manage their health. This is something that physicians think about. The status quo is a formidable foe for physicians too. They wonder, how do we encourage patients to take medication as prescribed? They deal with other issues like, why wasn't this patient referred to me earlier? If I only would have seen them earlier, I could have avoided this untoward event. So you can just say to doctors who are thinking about their finances, have you ever wondered how you could get more timely patient referrals? Well, I wonder about that myself because, like you, I know that early intervention makes a big difference. Next, use medical metaphors. Maybe you can offer yourself as a second opinion. Tip number 3 is frame the contrast between you and the existing plan. The way that you set up this contrast, however, can give you either the competitive advantage or it can serve as a liability. The thing that's most important is to avoid the judgment ABCs, which is accuse, blame, and criticize. Whenever you're comparing the existing plan to the plan that you're proposing, don't talk in terms of heroes and villains. Talk in terms of risks, benefits, and alternatives. Instead of talking about right and wrong, focus on what's right for your client. You can also compare and contrast the idea of activity and results. There are many people who are active in their financial plan, but is this activity leading to the retirement dreams that they want? You can also be persuasive with social proof. The most influential person in a doctor's life is another doctor. And if you can share with your physician prospect that a key opinion leader in the medical community, a doctor they know and like and trust, has tried a new financial plan, that's probably the most compelling argument that you offer. Other forms of social proof beside physicians are thought leaders. There's the Warren Buffett halo. If you can say that Warren Buffett does this or some other brilliant investment strategist does it, that's great. If you can offer some historic precedent for the kinds of choices that you're facing now, that can also be compelling. You can beat your competition and win physician clients. Just remember that the status quo is a formidable foe. You may have to expose your physician prospect to your message many times, 6 to 10 times before they take action. To compete and win, focus on the prospects who are most open to a new way of doing things. Switch it up. Compare and contrast fiscal health and financial health, the doctor role and the patient role, and offer social proof. You can go back to the Cracking the Physician Code course and pick up some more solid tips that will help fill in these outlines. Thanks for stopping by today. I hope that you found value in this content. Tune in next week for your next 1% solution.